Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Gemma and Rach Let's Chat podcast. Today we bring you part 2 of our 4-part series looking at the science behind the one-to-one diet and the secrets that you need to know in order to have success with your weight loss. This week we're going to be looking at steps 2 and 3, our mid steps, where you can both use the meal replacement products but also still have conventional food. Throwing out the myth that it is just soups and shakes and there's no other way that you can lose weight. So if you're ready to get in with it, then you know what to do. Pop on your headphones, link up the Bluetooth, grab a brew and let's chat. Gem, step 2 and step 3. I feel like step 2 is your baby. I love step 3, but being completely honest with everyone listening, step 2 wasn't my vibe. I very much loved the soul source steps. I loved 1B. And if you haven't yet, you can obviously go back and catch up last week's episode where we go into real depth about the soul source steps. But today we're going to be looking a little bit more into Miss Rennick's favourite step, how you lost weight, which is step 2. So Gem, give everyone like a really simple overview of what step 2 is and how, if you were a slimmer, you would be doing step 2 to lose weight.
So I basically chose step 2 because at the time, Finley was 1 at the time. So he was already eating, he's weaning at that point. And I really enjoyed having that meal with him. And I personally didn't like the thought of the savoury products on plan. I always thought I'd rather just eat my own. Because I liked cooking. I enjoyed cooking. I was cooking for him anyway. So I thought, actually, the ease of 3 products a day was right up my street because I didn't, when you're out and about with a baby as well, it was just easier for me to not have to think about it. And I loved the shakes and bars. I quite like the porridges, but my thing was like the vanilla shake, banana shake, chocolate mint shake, and just the chocolate bars. Back then they were a bit different. I think I used to have the cranberry bar, which was amazing. So if I went out for coffee, for instance, and we went to Costa with the babies, I'd have a coffee and my bar and they would have a cake and that was fine. But I just really enjoyed having a meal. I just wanted to sit down, still cook something, still enjoy sitting with him and eating our dinner. And I found he ate better because I was weaning him. If I had a meal, I could kind of share it with him. So I would make my step 2 meal, which is a portion of protein and 80 grams of veg or salad that you choose from the list. So I'd make my portion, which was normally chicken, broccoli or eggs or something along those lines. And then I'd make extra and put it on the other side of the plate so he could sort of pick mummy's dinner, and we just kind of ate together. So I really liked that. And I used to save my bar for the evening as like a treat after we'd gone to bed. But for me, the calories are the same. Step 1B, step 2, they're the same, pretty much the same weight loss. But I chose to have that meal, whereas a lot of my clients would rather not have to think about it. For example, you were like, I don't like cooking. I don't have to think about it. Those products are so easy. They are nice. And actually, they're just simple, aren't they? So I'd say they're both the same. You can just choose which one you'd prefer to do.
That's what I always say to my clients. It's because people will go, what am I going to get the most weight loss on? And it's like, right, okay, let's go back and actually assess what we're doing this for. Let's do all of that little bit of work. But then really the only question you have to ask yourself between step 1B, 4 products a day, or step 2 is, do I want to cook? Or do I want conventional food?
Yeah.
And if you do not want to think about food in the slightest, like me, then 1B is going to be your jam. That's going to be where you're going to feel the real weight lifted when it comes to food noise and all the rest of it. Step 2 is for those that want, like you say, the convenience of the products. I think I said to you, Jen, when I started, this plan needs to be given to all new mums. Obviously that want to lose weight instead of doing whatever else. I'm not saying that you should just be given it.
But it's the simplest thing to follow, isn't it?
So simple. And that is I love that when I was on plan because you got so much to think about. Poppy was 9 months old when I started. And, so you're still thinking about bottles. You're then doing your baby-led weaning or you're weaning them, however you're doing that. Then I also was going back to work. I had that transition to try and think about. So if I was to add on to that as well, let me now have to plan out my breakfast, my lunch, my dinners, my snacks, all the rest of it. It's no wonder that we get totally overwhelmed. And then now I'm going to sack that off. I'll just have that. I'll grab that. That's easy to have instead. Whereas the products make that choice a good choice. You're going to be feeling good with them. You're going to be working towards your weight loss goals and you're going to be getting all of the nutrition and everything that you need so that you're not absolutely on your ass, like
Yeah.
by 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
And that's the point, getting that nutrition in, to do that with conventional food, trying to get your protein levels up, trying to get all the veg, the fruits, the micronutrients, all of that into your daily plan, which is obviously, you hear all the time, that's the right way to do it. You need to be tracking your macros, you need to be tracking this, doing that. But as a new mum, I did not have the brain capacity all the time, or I didn't want to commit the time to that. I know we can all make time, but I didn't want to. I wanted ease. I wanted to make sure I was well. I wanted to make sure I felt good on plan. I wanted to make sure I was safe. And on the benefits of what I felt so quickly, the energy I felt, I was sleeping better. When you wake up as a new mum, you haven't really had any sleep anyway. I was shattered. And I was the excuse of like, oh, it's because I'm a mum. That's why I'm tired all the time. Actually, no, it's because I was eating crap all the time.
That's it. Like you think,
and it just made me feel dreadful.
You go for those like high sugar options.
Yeah.
I'll refer back to Jamie's like 164 Kinder bars in 3 or 4 days. But you are constantly like, I need that energy to kind of get me through. I need something to get me through. Actually, the reason we feel like that is because we're choosing those high sugar items. So we get that little tiny like energy rise and then a massive dip. Whereas with the products, because they are so balanced and you're getting everything that you need, we're not getting those huge sugar.
Yeah, I remember saying to Jim, I felt so stable. My hormones felt stable for like the first time ever. And even when I was due on, obviously because I had my periods back and everything by then, but I was just, all I can describe it as I felt quite calm, and just stable and level-headed all the time. And it was like the best feeling. I've never felt that before. And I was thinking, I used to eat thousands and thousands of calories thinking, that's probably the better thing to do, to eat more. And I brought it right down to 800 calories a day. I honestly thought I was not going to be able to survive. Before I started, I was like, I'm never going to be able to do that. 800 calories is not enough. It's not safe. I'm never going to be able to do it. But I thought I'd try it because, everyone's raving about it. Oh my God. I felt the best I've ever felt.
Like, and that's the thing. Everybody says like, oh, you can't survive on that. You can't be doing just that, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, you can if you're doing it yourself and you're trying to do it with like, cereal bars or whatever.
Yeah.
But if you're doing it with a plan that is scientifically designed and medically backed to make sure that you're getting everything that you need, you absolutely can, because the whole point of us being on, like, coming onto the plan is that we have got excess fat that our bodies, we need to use up so that we can lose that excess fat. So being on 800 calories a day, getting everything that I need, I can rest assure you, when I had like 10, 12 stone to lose, I was absolutely fine when it came to surviving because I'm getting everything I need from the products. And that is, I think, the point that gets missed so often about this plan is that every single product has got 169 health benefits to it. There is so many like good things in those products.
Yeah. It's not just a protein bar, just a bar, chocolate bar, just a shake. It's not. You
feel incredible, and that is why we can go to what is, people look at as such an extreme calorie amount, because we know that every calorie you're getting there is like power packed with everything that you need. And actually, once your body's got everything it's need, it can then go to the fat that you want to lose and start utilizing that and using that up. So it's, I think people get really nervous with step 1 and step 2 because they're both, like we say, they're both 800 calories.
Yeah.
But you're never going to be able to function on that. But you can. The first few days, like we discussed last week, may be challenging. And it's the same for step 2.
Yeah.
But once you get over those, step 2 offers you that kind of lovely balance of having the ease, getting everything that you need from your products. But also, like you said, Jem, if you are someone that still wants to have kind of like real food, then you have that option as well. And you touched on, Jem, the fact that there is those kind of predetermined proteins and vegetables and kind of weights of those things that you're going to have. A lot of people wonder why, like, oh, why can't I just have like 200 calories of this, or why can't I have like 200 calories of toast or whatever it is.
But they do that on 1B as well. A lot of my clients say, I just, I didn't have my fourth product. I had a 200 calorie, I don't know, cinnamon bun from Costa or something. Do you know what I mean? But it is, you need to be fully, the point of the plan is that you are nutritionally, nutritionally
complete. Like complete,
you have everything that you... Yeah, what you're eating is nutritionally complete in that day. You know that you're getting everything you need.
And what is also really important, and again, I'm sure we touched on this last week, but you said about, most people say about like macro counting. So counting how much protein, carbs and fat that you're getting. The products do that for you.
Yeah. And that's what I needed. I didn't want to think about that.
You get all of the protein that you need. And that's probably the most important thing to focus on. The carbs in the products, yes, there are carbs in the products. It is not a ketogenic plan, which horrifies some people who did it like 10 years ago, but it isn't. It's meal replacement. It is, if we can get the balance, it's like an equation. If we can get this balance correctly, you will feel really good without having to be in ketosis or whatever else.
And don't overcomplicate it. Don't try and change it. It's done for you. The scientists have done it. You don't need to think about it.
You just need to do. Just do the doing.
Just do. Yeah.
Stop thinking.
But that's how I felt on plan. I was like, just do what they're telling me to do.
That was like me. Work. It was like, right, I've been told what I need to do, so now I just need to do it.
Just do it.
Like, and it was quite nice, like especially as a mum, where you feel like you're making like 20,000 executive decisions a day for somebody. It was quite nice to have somebody to tell me, like, I need you to do this. And it was like simple instructions. It was like, I can do that.
Yeah.
And so it makes it really easy to follow. But on step 2, you do get that little bit of like, here you go.
I think that's what people struggle with, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what I struggle with.
Yeah, having
it's
choice.
It's a lot to take on, like really, to weigh and measure everything like that, especially if you're coming from a place where food is you've got a real complex, struggled relationship with it. Now, if that's you, do 1B. Like, just even for a little bit.
Most of my clients do.
Yeah, mine do. Like, and then they may move up to step 2, like after a period of time, because with step 2, you are going to be given like prescribed amounts of protein and veg, and it is really important that you stick to that list. If you're not sticking to that list and those measurements, you are not doing step 2. I don't know what you are doing, but you ain't doing our plan and doing step 2.
And you need to be disciplined on every step and follow it exactly how it's supposed to be followed.
Because that is going to make sure that, yes, you've taken a product away, but we still need to make sure you're getting the right amount of protein, especially because if you're not getting enough protein, you are going to risk your body metabolizing your lean muscle, and you're going to risk losing lean muscle rather than fat. So it's not a case of us just trying to be difficult, or somebody just went, I know, put down that much. That's 200 calories, isn't it?
Yeah.
No. It's the measurements correlate to how much protein are you going to have in that meal, and then your veg portion is going to be looking at things like your vitamins, your minerals, your fiber. So it is important that you stick to them. Now, it can be done a bit of a cheat way, as in you can make it so that you don't need to think a lot, which is what I did when I did step 2 for a week. Which means that you can use things like the pre-prepared little packets of broccoli from Tesco. They were like a godsend for me. They're 80 grams. It's like they knew
that's
exactly
perfect.
what we needed. And then you can get yourself some like just like chicken breasts and just like some herbs on there if you want to. And then you don't really have to think as much then. Or you can, the easiest step 2 meal in the world is an omelette, because there's no weighing or measuring needed. It's 2 eggs.
Although you'd be surprised, so many people are like, how do you get your omelette like that? I can't cook an omelette. You've got to have a good non-stick pan. You do. You need a good
non-stick pan will do you good. And then, you could add your spinach, your mushrooms, and then that's your step 2 meal. You don't have to have your step 2 meal in the evening. You could choose to have that step 2 meal as your first meal of the day and then have products. It's, you hear the example of, I have my 3 products and then my evening meal, but you can have that step 2 meal at any time.
I used to have it at lunchtime. In the week, I'd try and have it like lunchtime with Finley, and I would have things. I even prepped my step 2 meal. I remember Nat saying this as well. Make your step 2 meal as convenient as a product. So just say, I don't know, on a Sunday, you prep some tuna salads or whatever, but you've got all the measurements right. It's all in your Tupperwares and you've just got them in the fridge to grab. It's just as easy as a product. But if you'd rather have that conventional food, but again, it takes time to plan, prep. And that's what a lot of people don't want to have to do. I didn't mind doing that at the time because I was at home, and I was happy to do it. But then on the weekends, I would have mine as like breakfast. So I'd have like 2 poached eggs with maybe 80 grams of asparagus or mushrooms or something. And I'd have a little like Saturday or Sunday nice brunch. And then I'd have my 3 products later on. So I would say to people, think outside the box. You can mix and match it. You can swap that meal out. Also try and be adventurous with those step 2 ingredients, because I see so many people do step 2 and they literally have like the most anemic looking chicken breast I've ever seen. 170 grams, they've cut the end off and it's just like a little bit of chicken that they've obviously put in the oven, really dry, with 80 grams of broccoli. And I think, oh, come on, you could have added we've got the lovely golden veg, the water flavouring that I used to use as like a stock. You can boil the chicken in that. It's so nice. It's really salty, really like lovely flavour. Or you can make like a broth. I used to make little broths with like big king prawns and stuff. Yeah, like just be adventurous with it.
SJ do that. And what I'll do for step 2 is I'm going to link in the show notes your step 2 vlog from when you and James did it. So you can see both yours and James's kind of what I eat in a day on step 2. James being, you know, a busy NHS worker and you kind of working from home. It's 2 kind of different dynamics. But also SJ Strum, obviously we love SJ.
I loved her step 2 recipes.
With her on here. And she blogged her step 2 experience and her step 2 meals. And, you know, she's vegetarian as well, so if you are veggie, she has a lot of good vegetarian options. So she would get like her corn mince and then put, you know, stuff like all these things to make it absolutely delicious.
It's the herbs and spices people forget. You can have any herbs and spices. I always allow all fresh herbs, you know, fresh garlic, chili, ginger, any powdered sort of, if you want fresh basil, fresh mint, anything. I used to make little yogurt. Do you remember I used to do like the little fat-free yogurt dressing with like fresh mint, black pepper, a little bit of salt, garlic granules. Oh, it's so nice to have like just something, because that's what you miss. You miss things like sauces.
You miss flavour.
Like, miss flavour, and the extras that you would add normally.
If you're a savoury lover, I am not. I can't relate to
That's
you.
Who I am.
Then that I think it's those people that like step 2. That
I agree.
Like savoury food, because I'm quite happy with all my sweet products, but for people that like savoury, there may be more of a limited range, or they may it is normally that real saltiness that people are missing.
It is
it umami they call it, like out of the 5 things, like an umami flavour. But the ability to make those meals on step 2 can give you that which you may be missing. And the vegetable water flavouring, which people often look at you horrified and they're like, why am I having vegetable flavoured like squash? And it's like, no.
I thought that though. Before I started, I was like, what do you mean water flavouring that's vegetable? And she was like, well, no, like a gravy. It's like a stock. I was like, right. And she was like, try it in your cooking first, see if you like it. And I did. I tried it with the chicken. I thought, actually, that is really nice. I didn't necessarily drink it like some people do. You know, like Bovril. People drink Bovril, all the time.
I did. When I started plan, it was it was December. And then in the January, like, it's so funny the things that you vividly remember from motherhood. But I would take Poppy out every day for a little walk, and obviously it was bitterly cold. And when I got back, it would be about 3:00. She'd be down for a nap, and I would always have golden veg water flavouring.
It's like a soup, like a cup of soup, I suppose.
Do you know what? It's so filling. Like, I would have like a pint of that, just a teaspoon. We don't recommend more than a teaspoon a day because it is very salty.
Yeah, salty.
But it was so nice. Like, it was really filling. It was really warming. Like, and especially this time of year, if you were on one of the steps with just products, or even if you are on like step 2, step 3, whatever, I would really recommend getting some of that, because it is like a hug in a mug, and it's also kind of feels like a 5th product.
I was just going to say, if you had that like a cup of soup, then add your chocolate bar afterwards, you're basically having a 2-course little meal, aren't you?
Really, really nice. Like, I rate it a lot. And I was very dubious. I was like, I really don't know how I'm going to feel about this. But actually,
you got to taste it. It is really nice.
Me in the winter on step 1, that was like my absolute saviour. But then step 2, it is really good to add into making your meals. So like you say, you can either cook your chicken in it, use it as like a sprinkling on top of your meat that you're going to have. Or like Esther did in one of her videos, make like a ramen with prawns and like some veg and stuff in there. And it's, you know, an easy way to go. You could even make up like your like ramen meals if that's something that you like. You know, get your pak choy, your veg, whatever that you're going to have, pop them in little bags, have your prawns pre-cooked or whatever. And then you can just literally take a bag out of the fridge, put it in a mug, add your golden water flavouring. Kettle done.
It is so easy, isn't it? And that's the thing, make your step 2 meals easy and convenient, and then it's not really that much of a transition from 1B to 2 if you can do that. And then we've even got the even easier options, and it's the step up meals. A lot of my ladies will have the step up meals on maybe a Friday night and Saturday night, so they don't have to cook, and they'll have that as their step 2 meal, just as something convenient, a bit of a treat. you know, like the chicken curry and rice, that's really nice. Or the stews. A lot of people like the casseroles, don't they? The beef and
the beef
yeah.
casserole is really, really nice. And also a kind of really popular one out of the range. If you say like what's your most popular, would probably be the veggie chili and wedges.
Yeah. I think it's the wedges. People love those wedges, don't they?
Wedges in there. And that's,
yeah.
Don't get me wrong, I find it too spicy. I have got a
It is quite spicy,
delicate palate. However, what I sometimes say to people to do, if it is really, really spicy, it's really bothering them, just get like some 0% fat, like Greek yogurt or natural yogurt, and just literally a spoonful and just mix that in, and it just brings the spice down a little bit.
And makes it creamy, I expect.
Yeah, it does. That's really nice. And the step-up meals, I think, they are overlooked a lot of the time. Like people don't think of them as like an option, and actually they're not a meal replacement product, so they are only from step 2 onwards. They are not fortified with all of your vitamins and minerals and everything that you need. However, they are designed to give you everything you need in regards of your proteins, exactly as a step 2 meal would. Ultimately, Gem, when you mention the step-up meals, the one question you're going to get is, well, if they've got a veggie chili and wedges, why can I not have potatoes with my step 2 meal?
And you know what? This has always been a big confusion, like for years. And at the end of the day, there's also lots of step 2 recipes on the app. So, and you'll see like on some of those step 2 recipes, there might be things like carrots or, carbs basically. But if you look at the measurements, they've been specifically designed to still give you the right amounts of everything that you need protein wise. And if you notice, they wouldn't ever put 80 grams of carrots into one of the recipes. Whereas if you use the steps booklet and you're making your own meal, it is very straightforward. It's just protein, 80 grams of the veg. You can't have 80 grams of carrots because the carbs would be too high and then you'd have to bring the protein down. So it is, you kind of have to trust the process, but head office would have, formulated the recipe to give you exactly what you need. You can't really guess. And I think a lot of people, again, they just look at calories, and it's not just about calories. It's about the levels of everything that you need at the same time.
That's it. They've had to try and lay out a really simple way that you can follow that says, this is the protein and veg you need. And we know if you have this and this, you're getting everything that you need regarding your proteins and all the rest of it. If we open the floodgates and put too many things in and make it too complicated, the likelihood is people could follow it, but aren't going to get their weight losses that they want. And then they're going to come to you asking why they haven't got the weight losses. And they're not going to be able to give you an easy answer either as to what they've had, because, you know, they've just jumbled up that whatever it is they're having. So if you go on the One-to-One Diet app, which you will have access to if you are a current dieter with the One-to-One Diet, if you don't, speak to your consultant. If you haven't got a consultant, reach out to one and kind of get that journey going. But they will have formulated those recipes to have everything that you need. So if it says on a step 2 recipe on the app, you can add some carrot or some whatever. You absolutely can, because you know that recipe is almost verified by head office and the kind of the medical team that have put that together. Whereas, it would be very difficult if you were to say, you can have carrot in this particular recipe because everything's going to balance out, but you can only have this much in this recipe. It gets too complicated.
It's too confusing.
There's a very simple framework for you to follow within the steps booklet. Then if you want to be a bit more adventurous, you can go onto the app and look at some of the step 2 recipes that are approved by the brand as step 2, or you can still have the luxury of your convenient food, but you can have all of the effort taken away by using one of the step-up meals that again are available through one of your consultants, and you can order to try. And like you said, Jem, you can even mix and match that. You can have a couple for those kind of don't want to cook nights, or you can do your complete journey on step 2 with the step-up meals. It's completely up to you.
And I think that is the beauty of step 1 and 2, just going back, is how simple they are. The reason that they're so simple, that's why there's not much choice or scope to kind of change it, because they are there to simplify it for you. And that's the whole point. You want convenience, you want ease. That's why most people start on steps 1 or 2. The exciting stuff starts on step 3 as you move up. And that's when you do have more free reign, and you can go by calories a bit more then and kind of choose different things. I think that's why a lot of people are scared to do step 3, maybe, because they don't want to have to think about it, or they don't want to learn how to track calories or look at protein and things like that.
That's it. And I think step 2 and step 1 give you this you get to be put in a little bubble, a little safety bubble. You haven't got to think. You just do what your consultant tells you to do. You will lose weight. And then obviously, as we discussed last week, you use the support, you engage, you make those changes. And the plan is designed in two parts. One is to help you effectively lose weight. The other is to encourage and implement behavior change in how you interact with food, right? That's why there's the steps. Bit that people don't tend to follow. And actually, we have done step 1, step 2, we've lost our weight. I would say the vast majority of people that have done this plan, and like, you know, it's not normally your first time.
Yeah.
They have probably never even really looked at step 3 or what step 3 is, either from a weight loss perspective, or, you know, they'll say, oh, I lost my weight using step 2, and then I didn't go through the steps. So it's like, we've got 6 steps here. And I would say the vast majority of people are stopping at the weight loss steps. We're not even going forward. So step 3 is both a step that can be used for your weight loss, but it is also that first kind of step up if you've lost your weight with step 2 or step 1. So step 3, Jem, give us your synopsis of what step 3 is.
I love step 3 as well. That's like another one of my
favourites. I love step 3.
But I think it took a bit of time though for me to love like step 3. I think it does take a bit of practice. It does take a lot of like, I researched lots of other people doing step 3. I looked at loads of different recipes and tried new things. But again, to make it simple, you can just follow the book. You know, everything is listed for you. All the calories, measurements, proteins, carbs, veg, everything is listed very simply for you. But I always say to my clients, you can pick and choose. If you want to have something else for those calories, you can. And I do think it makes your life a lot more flexible. So like if you are in the shop, for instance, like I started picking, you know, you can get those little eggs from M&S, like the 2 eggs and the spinach. Like I'd have that for 200 calories. I'd have the little mini prawn salad for 200. And you can start eating what you think is like more normal. I felt like this is normal. I think I could eat like this, like long term. Do you know what I mean? I just felt less restricted, and I really enjoyed it. And you still lose a lot of weight if you want to on step 3. I've even got people that start on step 3 because maybe in the past they've tried step 1 or 2 and haven't been able to stick to it for whatever reason, or haven't enjoyed it, and it's just not the step for them. But then they've absolutely like flourished on step 3 because they wanted that flexibility. So in a nutshell, step 3 is basically 2 products. So you still get your convenience, your nutrients from those 2, but then you have a 600 calorie allowance to kind of have a couple of meals as and when you want them. So you could either save that 600 calories and go out for dinner with your friends and pick a healthy option from the menu, which me and you have looked on so many menus over the years. We know there's so many
loads of
now.
options. Like, so and not only are there loads of options, but you always have options as well to say, can I have this, but can I switch that out? And
you can change it. Yeah.
That again is like the amazing value of a consultant is I get sent menus every week and I can say to my clients, and I'm like, right, okay, on here, I would go for this, or this, and I would switch this out, ask them for this. Like, I can give you a playbook on how to go into that situation to feel really in control, but also be able to go out and enjoy yourself. And step 3 can be done in so many ways. And actually, it's probably why I'm so passionate again about the plan, is because I've been on diets in the past where every meal feels like an algebra equation. I'm having to track so many different things, get these bits in this, get these points here, this point there. Like it becomes so confusing that you kind of chuck your hands up in the air. And I've never been shy to say I hate cooking. I do not like cooking in the slightest, right? I do not enjoy it. Me, Jamie and Poppy all eat different things. Because obviously Poppy, our little daughter, is autistic, so she's got a lot of food aversions. Jamie is just a bizarre man that just wants dry food. And I'm a normal human being that does enjoy food but hates cooking. So what I loved about step 3 was that I could actually make it so that I could still have that food. I still felt like I could do the plan. I still lost weight with the plan, but I could eat in a way that was going to work for me long term. I wasn't trying to prescribe to these rules that I knew realistically was not going to be lifelong. When, you know, people say like, I eat this way, like that was not realistic for me. But I could do step 3 having a fish cake and salad if you were in that era of my life.
Your style, isn't it? Like your food that you enjoy. You can incorporate that.
I love it when Mr. M&S has just prepared my meal for me and I can just put it in the oven, put it in the microwave, put it in the air fryer. it makes it so easy, but that is so demonized on
I
any
know,
other
I
diet
know.
I have ever done. You're made to feel lazy, like you should be doing it. And it's like, it don't work for me. Like, I'm just going to own it and be like, it does not work for me. What works for me is my fish cake and my salad, my pre-prepared
Yeah.
salad, my fish
Yeah.
cake. I know that's 250 calories. Thank you very much. There's my lunch sorted.
Easy and convenient. Yeah.
And then my dinner, I am using like services like a prep kitchen, like pre-prepared meal, HelloFresh, Gusto. That's about as much cooking as I'll ever do in my life. And even that, sometimes I'm like, that's too much.
It is quite an effort, isn't it?
It is. So then
Yeah.
I'll use like the higher protein,
Yeah.
pre-prepared meal options that are available. There is so many now. Like, I was looking for one of my clients yesterday, actually, because they love cooking, but they're just going, life's life in at the minute. And actually adding that extra stress is just not realistic. So I was like, look, for a short period of time, maybe we look at some pre-prepared options. And, you've got options in all of your supermarkets, Iceland, Tesco, Sainsbury's, your Ocados. Then you've got like more dedicated services that can send you out your meals. Then you've got your things like your HelloFresh if you do still want to cook. Like, there is such a huge array of it. But I think people that have been dieting for years and years and years, we've just got it instilled in us that a ready meal is the absolute devil. And it isn't. If you pick the right kind of ones that, taste good, have good ingredients, it's no different to me preparing a meal myself. I've just taken away preparing a meal. And I think if you know realistically that you're not going to be able to commit to that for a longer period of time, but either you're going up the steps, for example, in your, we have to do that, that's really important, then eat in a way that's going to last for you long term. Like, if I hadn't have eaten like that then, I wouldn't be here now. Like, it just wouldn't.
And you've got to remember as well, like, people would have, that's not healthy, you shouldn't eat like that. But actually, being 12 stone overweight isn't healthy in how you were eating before. So you're really trying to change. And actually, you can do that for a period of time. Then it might get to a point where you're like, actually, that's really expensive to eat like that. That's kind of what happened to me. I got to a point where I was like, no, I need to save a bit of money now and not buy the pre-prepared stuff anymore. I don't want as much processed. Just like personal choice for me.
Yeah.
But it is more of an effort to cook and try and, to be a working mum with children, full-time job, with all the school stuff going on, all the other stresses of life, just life in general. It is hard to put in that time and effort to make, but I do feel like I've kind of got the balance. I still like a little bit of pre-prepared. I love a fish cake as well.
Yeah, I love a fish
They
cake.
are amazing. That one from M&S I shared yesterday, the katsu.
Yeah.
It's so good. That one's amazing.
Basket for whenever
they're so
need
nice
them in the future. But
then I'll make like a chicken curry or something from scratch, or I'll make like a chili, or
more balance. Like, that's
you
what
can
it's
do.
about.
Yeah.
How you're choosing to eat in this particular moment does not determine how you're going to eat for the rest of your life. Like, just because you're going to use something now doesn't mean that forever and ever that's how you're going to eat. To be honest, like, I got to a place where even though I don't love cooking, I've now, found things that I can make that are like minimal cooking, but, I'll make them more from kind of scratch.
Yes. Yeah.
But that is because I have given myself the time to understand what things I like, what, it's just those served a purpose. And they still do on busy days or, whatever else. But that's what's so brilliant, like Jem said, is that we're giving you 2 products for ease and convenience. You've got 600 calories. You can split that up however you like. There is no prescribed way to have it. You have it as is going to work in your day. And there are guidance regarding food, measurements, what things we should have more or less often. But it's also, there is the flexibility to make it work for you. And that's what your consultant's going to be there to help you with, is saying like, right, realistically, you're probably not going to be weighing and measuring and doing all of this all the time. But I need to reverse diet you. I need you to start bringing in more food. So therefore we can look at using this or that or whatever. Or you can be an absolute like chef in the kitchen and oh my gosh, you're going to come up with incredible meals. If you do, please blog it, please tag us so that we can
I love them. It gives me ideas. I'm like, yes, I have got a couple of people on plan like that actually. And when they make their step 3 meal just look so like proper chef's quality, like the presentation, I'm like, wow, if you enjoy that, do it. It's amazing.
And like you said, you still get amazing losses. I did step 3 2 Christmases ago, like 2 Januaries ago. We all know that post-Christmas, like, need to life
I love a
out.
step 3 reset in January.
And still lost a stone in January. All of that extra, like everything had gone. I didn't feel restricted. I didn't feel deprived. If anything, it was quite nice after Christmas to just feel like I didn't need to have, like I wasn't constantly like eating.
I like it after Christmas because it means I just fully embrace Christmas, and I love that I can still maintain, eat everything, drink everything at Christmas, do a little reset on step 3, and also blog it. It's really good for content because it's obviously showing people that step 3 is possible. Because again, we know step 3 is the step that nobody knows about, nobody talks about, nobody's willing to do it. So actually, it's a good time for us to kind of blog it and showcase it. And it makes you feel amazing. Like literally within a week on step 3, I was like, oh, I feel like a new woman. Yeah, and then you got that new year, feel amazing, you're off to a good start, and off you go.
That's it. And it's like we said, it really offers that flexibility. But what's important to kind of say with all of the steps is we're never going to be here like saying this is the step that you need to do, because we don't know you. Like, you know, you need to have that relationship with a consultant that can guide you and say, look, I think this is going to be the best step for you. You know, I had honest conversations with clients that want to do step 3, and I'm like, my advice is you need to be on just products for now. How you are with food, what you're kind of telling me, that is not the right step for you right now. We will get you there, but for right now, this is going to be a better place for you. So you need to have that relationship to know where to go with it. But also understanding that step 2 and step 3 work incredibly for weight loss. They have amazing benefits. But the payoff of you being able to have that flexibility is you have to take so much accountability and control over the calories that you're having. When me and Jen say that we had success on step 3, you best believe we were weighing, tracking, logging, everything, because you need to. And that isn't how you're going to be with food forever. But if you want to have success on those steps that incorporate food and products in the same way that those products have been like diligently designed to give you everything you need to be diligent with the calorie allowance. You don't need to worry about your fats, proteins, carbs, any of that. You just need to make sure that the calories are on point. Once that becomes kind of second nature and you're good with that, and if you want to, then of course you can become a little bit more interested in the breakdown of what you're having. But first and foremost, you need to track your calories. Can I say this enough? I'm like, yes, you need to track.
And don't push the boundaries. I have people go, I'm going to have to do step 3. I need to do step 3 because I need a bit more. I'm like, okay, step 3 then. That's it. You got to stick to those calories. Oh, I did step 4 on this day, or I had a few more calories. Why? You know, don't push the boundaries on the step you're on. If you're on step 1, do step 1 100%. You will get the results. Same with step 2, same with step 3. And it is that, like me and you have just said, we did lose a stone in January on step 3. I don't think I even went a calorie over, and I drank my 3 litres of water. We went to bed hungry the first few days. You know, you have to get through it. You cannot push the boundaries. I always say that to people.
Yeah, don't pick your step on what step lets you engage in the behaviours that have got you here in the first place. Like, if you know I'm a real snacker, whatever, do not do step 3. Like, what are you playing at? You're going to basically have 600 calorie snacks throughout the day and just be able to engage in the behaviour that you want to correct. That's causing you to be who you are. And so that's the other reason why it's important that you have someone that can be honest with you and say, like, look, from what you're telling me, I think you might mess about a bit with this step, whereas this one's a bit like going to give you more structure, even if it's just for a couple of weeks, whilst that little like rebel in your head calms down. Because you're right, people will start going slightly over. We start adding sauces and stuff. We don't count the calories in them. We start having this little bit here.
I think it's about that.
I think it's about that much there. We start not having a product and instead having something else, because I'm on a food step now, so I can have food. You can, but only if you're having those 2 products, because those 2 products aren't there for me to just push selling new products. If I wanted to do that, every single person I ever spoke to would be on 1B, and that isn't the case. It is because having those 2 products is still going to give you like 50 to 70% of your daily nutrition. That is why we can be a bit more relaxed about what you're having with your calories. But people who play with plan, stop playing with plan. Do plan. Just do it the way it's meant to be done. Like, stop playing. Stop it. Stop playing about. Because then all that's going to happen is you ain't going to get the results you want. You're going to become frustrated. We'll live in a lovely land of denial of to why it's not working. And suddenly it's the plan's fault. When actually the poor plan over here is like, no. I promise if you do me as I tell you to do me, you'll be fine. And we're playing. So yeah, stop playing and you will get the results with step 3. And something you mentioned, Gem, that is so vital on every single step and everyone struggles with. Water.
Oh, water.
You have to drink the same amount on any step you're doing. That water,
honestly, if I had £1 for every time somebody said, I'm sticking to plan 100%, I just can't drink the water.
I'm like, well, then you're not sticking to plan.
That's 100%. Why you're not sticking to plan, and you're struggling and you're not getting the results and you're hungry all the time. Yeah, it's all, most of the side effects come because you haven't drunk enough water, and the results will always show if you're drinking water or not.
You'll always lose more. Like you will always lose more.
And feel better.
If you will feel better, but if you're only if we strip every benefit away and we just go weight loss, just because of how our bodies metabolize fat, you will lose it quicker if you are drinking 2.5 to 3 liters of water a day. Like your weight losses, if you're only on 2 liters, if you can just about get 2 liters of water in at the minute, you push that to 3, your losses are gonna like absolutely take off.
Yeah, and we see it all the time, don't we? The difference is huge.
And just from drinking some water, yes, it's annoying. Yes, it's not an easy thing to remember, but get your like water reminder app. Yeah. Put alarms on your phone, whatever you have to do. Do not, for the love of all things good in this world, make this journey longer because you decided you couldn't have an extra cup of water a day. Like you can. You can do that. You can. But step 2, step 3, brilliant steps. And like you say, Gem, you lost, how much did you lose on step 2?
Back in the day when I first did plan, very first time ever, 3 stone in 10 weeks on step 2.
That's what you mean.
100%. I drank 3 to 4 litres of water a day, and I did measure and track, 170 grams of chicken, 80 grams of broccoli. It was, I was on it. But I was like, I'm paying for a plan that's been told I'm going to lose about a stone a month. Like, I'm going to stick to this 100%.
I'm going to get that. That's definitely,
I'm definitely getting that. Yeah.
And that's it. You will lose weight really,
the
really
results
well
are insane.
if you are sticking to it and doing it honestly. And a big part of us doing this series is debunking some myths and giving you a bit more of an understanding almost of like the background of the steps, why they are the way they are, like why they're set out the way they're set out. But it's also so that you can understand the steps, so that when you're looking at doing plan, you can see almost like the pros and cons to each step for your certain circumstance, and then make your choice. But what I will say is, if you are doing step 1 or step 2 and you have lost your weight, do not look at step 3. And when your consultant says, right, we're going to step you up now, don't look at it as like a nothing step, like, I don't need to worry about that. Because again, and we'll talk more about this next week when we talk about stabilization and reverse dieting, but it is so important that they are followed because they are set out to increase your calories in a way that will stabilize your weight loss. So whether you're using step 3 for just weight loss, which you can, or you're going from step 1, step 2 and working up, don't think suddenly you can miss that step and just go back to eating normally. It is so important, both for the way in which our metabolisms stabilize our weight loss, but also in that behavior change piece. If you go from not having any food, and just having products, or having a very small portion of food you're controlling and mainly products, to then thinking that we're going to eat normally again, no, it's not going to work. It's not going to happen. It is 100% needed. It is part of this process. If you've started the process, you need to see it through. Don't be silly now. Don't get diva fever and go crazy. Do step 3 as it is laid out. And obviously, if you've got any questions on the step you're on at the moment, starting plan, anything like that, reach out to your consultant. Or if you're not on plan, as I mentioned earlier, you can message me on Gem. Our details are always in the show notes. I also include a Find a Consultant link to the One-to-One Diet webpage, where if you want someone face-to-face or someone local to you, you can pop your postcode in and find somebody in your area. That feels like a really lovely place to just round off. I think we've given a good explanation on step 2, step 3. I hope that you found this really useful. Like I say, next week is Gem's favourite topic, which is all about stabilisation and maintenance. And we're going to go through step by step how you do that. Gem, you have a lot of success of getting people to gold and getting them through that process. I've replicated that process with my own clients and had incredible results. So we're going to share that with all of you so that you can really end that continual dieting cycle. And the weight that you've lost, you can protect. So make sure that you do follow on Spotify and on YouTube. Hit the notification bell so you're notified when all the new episodes go up. And if you haven't, please do share a little bit of love on this episode. It really does mean the world to us. We don't want to be beggy, but honestly, all of the likes, comments, shares, saves mean everything. So thank you so much. But for now, it is goodbye from me.
And bye from me.
And we will see you all again really soon.